A very good morning to all of you. Let us start our chapter Metals and Non-Metals. So far we have learned about all the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Now onwards we learn the chemical properties of metals and non-metals, and we'll deal with one property each day. So today we are going to learn the reaction of metals with oxygen along with an activity and the reaction of non-metals with oxygen. Before starting, we should know what is chemical property. So chemical property is the characteristic which is shown by a material during a chemical reaction. Here our material is a metal or a non-metal. So we will see how metal and non-metal react during a chemical reaction. Metals are very reactive. They easily react with other elements to form compounds. Most of the metals react with oxygen to form the corresponding metal oxide. It means sodium reacts with oxygen to form sodium oxide, magnesium reacts with oxygen to form magnesium oxide, calcium reacts with oxygen to form calcium oxide, etc. Let's see all these reactions. We have seen that metals are reactive and they react with oxygen to form their corresponding oxide. So let's take some example of these chemical reactions. Let's take the example of sodium. Sodium reacts with oxygen to form its oxide Na2O, which is sodium oxide. But before that, first balance the reaction. This is sodium oxide. Sodium reacted with oxygen to form its oxide, which is sodium oxide. This sodium, it reacts vigorously with oxygen, which is present in the air, to form the sodium oxide, and therefore it is stored under kerosene to prevent it from reacting with air and catching fire. Then let's take the example of magnesium, Mg. It reacts with oxygen to form magnesium oxide, MgO. This is magnesium oxide. Magnesium, it burns with a dazzling white light when it reacts with oxygen to form magnesium oxide. Then other example is of calcium. It reacts with oxygen to form its oxide, which is called calcium oxide, CaO. Let's balance the reaction to CaO. This is calcium oxide. This calcium oxide, it burns vigorously with a brick red flame when it reacts with oxygen. Then let's take the example of potassium. Potassium reacts with oxygen to form potassium oxide, K2O. This is potassium oxide. Now these oxides which are formed after the reaction of metal and oxygen, these are basic in nature. And to test their acidic or basic nature, let's do an activity. This is an activity or an experiment to test the acidic or basic nature of the metal oxides which are formed after the reaction of metals with oxygen. So for this, we need magnesium ribbon, a glass jar, red and blue litmus paper. You know, litmus paper is used to check whether the material or the substance is acidic in nature or basic in nature. So what is to be done in this experiment is, first we have to take a strip of magnesium ribbon and scratch it with a sharp object to remove any oxide if it is deposited on it to make it clean. Then light the scratched end of the ribbon with a matchstick. We have to burn that end. Then put the burning ribbon in the glass jar and close the lid. Cover the jar with a lid. Then collect the ash which is obtained and dissolve that ash in water. As I have shown in this test tube, this black color is of ash and it is dissolved in water. And then after dissolving, use a litmus paper. This is the litmus paper to test whether the solution is acidic or basic in nature. So what are you going to observe? You will observe that the magnesium ribbon burns with a bright light along with dense white fumes. It forms then ash. Since we have closed its lid, the lid of the glass jar, so it has formed ash and the ash got collected at the base of the jar. The solution of magnesium oxide in water. Now this ash is magnesium oxide. We have taken magnesium ribbon and it reacted with oxygen to form magnesium oxide, and we dissolved this magnesium oxide in water. The solution of magnesium oxide in water turns red litmus blue. This is the litmus paper. The red portion of the litmus paper has become blue. And you know that when will the red litmus paper will become blue? When it is acidic or basic? When it is basic in nature. So magnesium oxide dissolves in water to form magnesium hydroxide, which turns red litmus blue. It has formed another compound which has turned the red litmus blue. First, it reacted with oxygen to form magnesium oxide, MgO. And when we have dissolved the ash into water, it has reacted with this magnesium oxide has reacted with water to form another compound which is magnesium hydroxide. This is magnesium hydroxide, and this magnesium hydroxide is basic in nature, as we have tested using the litmus paper. It has turned the red litmus paper blue. So this proves that the magnesium oxide or the oxides which are formed after the reaction with oxygen, they are generally basic in nature. Non-metals like carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, etc. they react with oxygen to form their corresponding non-metal oxides, which are generally acidic in nature. We know that non-metals react with oxygen to form their corresponding oxides. So let's take a few examples. For example, carbon. Carbon burns in air or oxygen to form its oxide, which is CO2, carbon dioxide. And this carbon dioxide, it reacts with water and forms an acid which is H2CO3 and is called as carbonic acid. So in this way we have seen that a non-metal has reacted with oxygen to form its oxide, and this non-metal oxide reacts with water to form an acid. Let's take another example. Let's take the example of sulfur. Sulfur reacts with oxygen and forms its oxide SO2, which is called sulfur dioxide. And this sulfur dioxide reacts with water to form an acid which is H2SO3, and it is called sulfurous acid. Sulfurous acid. So in this way we have seen the reactions of metals with oxygen where they are forming metal oxides, and these metal oxides are basic in nature. And we have seen the reactions of nonmetals with oxygen where they are forming nonmetal oxides, and these nonmetal oxides are acidic in nature. Thank you.